Hello everyone, welcome back. In this video, we are going to talk about the state. The first hook we are going to see in functional component, which used to maintain the state of the application. What is hooks? Hooks are functions, and allow functional component to hook in React state and lifecycle features. And the first one we'll talk about is state hook, and we'll talk about ref hook later, and also effect, context, use reducer, plenty of hooks. And we will also introduce custom hooks. So the state is a component, is part of the component call, because we need to display the state of application, right? The data being held by the application. The state is a built-in React object that is used to obtain data and information about component. Whenever a component state changes, whenever it changes, the component will be re-rendered. If you change the state, it's going to be re-rendered. And this diagram, I think this is related. This is part of the class component. Anyway, so we still will have a state inside a functional component. A state can be modified based on user reaction or network changes, like when we fetch a user, right? At the beginning, it's gonna be pending, and then it's gonna be fulfilled, which is fetch user successfully, and it's gonna be reject. Every time the state of an object changes, React gonna be re-renders the component to the browser. The state object is initialized in the, this one not related to us. This is part of a class component, And the state object can be stored multiple properties using objects, and we will use, we can use any way you like, You can have a state contains the properties. The properties are also an array of objects. You can have different types. You can have different properties in a state you want to maintain. So useState hook let you add a state variable to our component, and the syntax is like this way. We will have useState, which is imported. You can give initial state, and then it will give you two things. And here we use array destruction assignment. This part, and you have a state, and you have a function. This function will be used to change the state, and whenever you call this function, it will also trigger the view to be re-rendered. useState return an array with exact two values: a current state, a function to update the state. And the convention to name a state is like a something and set something. Like if I want to, this one is user. Usually, this method is called a set user. Like to the function to update the user. And now let's take a look at the first demo. We are going to write a counter. Discard. I already have the project set up. Basically, the necessary files required for a React application have index.html, and I have div root. And this is because here we use root. And then for this one, I'm going to create our counter. TSX. And here are FC. This is the shortcut. And for the counter, and then we are going to do is here how to define a state, because I'm going to do is Ctrl+Shift+F. Here have a const. We'll have a count. This is a destruction, array destruction assignment. Set a count. And equals useState. And here you can give initial value 0. And then we can do here, we can have h1. How about h1? And here have a counter, and we will display count. And we can have a button. This button is +1. So whenever I make a change, whenever I click this button, I want to increment 1. So here, to make it movables, increment increment, okay, equals this one. My bad. It's a function, so this increment going to be hold here. No, not here, here. Okay, this is reference to be on click. When on click, it will make a call to this function. For this function, you say, oh, I want this count to be +1. Okay, every time. As you can see here, localhost 3000, right? Wait, what happened? Refresh. Oh, the reason is we didn't add into our app. So here in the app, we'll have a counter added here, and which is a child of app now. So inside the app, we will still see that counter. But now when I place 1, doesn't do anything. It's because in our increment, I didn't do anything. Probably think, okay, I just make a change in this counter. Okay. Okay, count. This one, you're going to have a warning. The warning is what? Oh, because here is a const, I will have a let. And once I have let, I can make a change, right? And you will see the count is being increased. Let's go to our console. No errors. You will see the count is being increased. See here? Every time it's being increased. But how about the counter displayed on the view? No, it's not being increased. The reason why, because when we display, if we want the new value being displayed in the view, we have to trigger re-rendering. And when we directly modify on this count, it won't trigger React to re-render the view. So that's why in the view, the count remains no change. Okay. Because you didn't make a change to the, you just make a change on the count itself. And when we make a change on the count itself, the React don't know you are already make a change on the state. Okay, so it won't trigger re-render because React don't know you are making change on state. The correct way to do is you have to set a count. We make a change. We set a count to be count +1. Count currently is 0 and +1 gonna be 1 the first time you create we click the button. Okay, so only we make a change through the set method, set count method. It will tell React, okay, my state of count is being changed. Please go to re-render. Okay, so here now we are see here. And you also can see from this component and click on the counter and you will see here have a state. Okay, and when I refresh at the beginning, we should see 0. Okay, 0, and whenever I make a change here, you will see it's being changed. Okay, and you can also directly make a change here, and when you make a change here, you can also see our view is also being changed. See here, you can also directly change it here. Like 12, you will see the count is being changed. So the only way you can make change to the state and also trigger the re-rendering is through the setter, which returned by useState. And if you directly modify the count, it won't work. Okay, so I will change it back to be const. That's why it's on the slide, it says. Okay, when you directly use count ++, even though you print the value to change, but you want to trigger the view to be re-rendered. Okay, and the only way is through the set count. Next one is object. Let's take a look at the object. Okay, suppose I have let's say I have user. Okay, .tsx and rfc. User, okay, then I'm going to our state is like this way. Const, I have user have a set user, okay, and then I have useState. useState, I'm going to give initial value which have a first name is empty, then last name is empty. Okay, yeah, empty, and have age is 20. Okay, 0. And then in my user, I'm going to display the information about user. Okay, so I'm going to display paragraph. How about it? And what I do is u dot first name, user dot first name, user dot first name. Okay, and I have to display user dot last name, and u dot age. Age. Okay, now I'm going to have a button here. The button is update. How about update the age? Okay, let's update the update the user. Okay, and here I'm going to have on click event. Click event, I will say update user. Then inside my hook functional component, I'm going to create update user. Okay, so how you do update? One way we can do is what? Oh, you want to update user? I will do like this way, user. And I'm going to do is user dot first name equals John. I'm going to update user dot last name equals Smith. Okay, this way. Then let's see if the browser will be changed. As you should say no. Okay. So I forgot to add the user here. User component. Okay, now let's take a look at here. User component, you will see empty, empty, and 0. Okay, then when I update, in my console, you will see it's being updated, right? It's being updated, but in my view, it's not. And one way you can also see here, because see here, the state, when we click update, is the state being changed here? Oh, it shows here, but it didn't trigger the re-rendering. Okay, let's see here one more. This one, when update, see here, the state is not being changed. Okay, and here, the state is being changed. It's not being changed. That's why the view is not being re-rendered. Okay, I don't know what happened. Let's do one more time. See here, when I update, the state is not being changed. And in my console, you will see the first name, last name is being changed. Okay, this is the same problem as we mentioned earlier. Okay, because you change on the user, but React doesn't know you are making changes. You have to through set a user. Or you say, Professor, can I do like, oh, not Professor. Hi, Tina, can I do like this way? Let me get user let. Okay, user equals first name John, last name is Smith, and what's the age is 20. What's the error? Oh, fine. Okay, it was syntax because I have by default, because I give default values here, and which will force the user in TypeScript has the first name, last name, age. And if I don't have age, you will see have a type error. Okay, now let's see here. We reassigned. Okay, see, reassign, update, still no. See here, but you will see the user being changed. In a user, no, the state is not being changed. Okay, so that's the problem. You cannot directly modify on this object. The only way you want to trigger the React to re-render the view is through the setter. And one more thing, you will see here, Professor, you want so Tina, you want to say a setter, right? Then I use user dot first name equals John, and user dot last name equals Smith, and user dot age equals 20. Then you say I have to call set user. Then let's call set user. Okay, let's try. And let's see here. Okay, update user. You still no change. See here, but you can see here it's being changed, right? Like update user changed, and in my component, let's refresh. Okay, start from beginning. Update user. You not being changed. See here, not being changed. But as we know, in the console, it's being changed. So Tina, I already used set user. What's the problem? Why this still doesn't work? The reason is because if we work with object, okay, if we use object, it's by reference, and the React doesn't do deep comparison, which means when you set a user, you are trying to make a change for the old, right? And then you give the same reference as the previous one. This one, see here, you modified it, but the React doesn't go deep, which is go to check if first name is same as the previous one, if last name is same as the previous one, if age is same as the previous one. It only do check if this object reference is same as the previous one. As we know, they are same. So we are think, you are the same, then I don't need to re-render the view. That's a problem. So when we work with object, you have to give a new object instead of modifying on existing one. And here, the syntax we are going to use is called the destructuring assignment. Spread, my bad. No, spread on user, okay. And then I will only modify first name equals John. How about it? I will only modify age equals 20. And this one is a spread on the user object, okay? And so when we do spread, you will get first name empty, last name empty, and age. And when I add the first name John, it's gonna be replaced. This first name replaced with John, and this age is gonna be replaced. This 0. And since we are create a new object, the reference of this object is different from the original one, okay? So it's going to trigger, you are making the reference is different. The object is being, the state is being updated. Let me go and update and trigger the re-render of the view. So now let's see. Okay, at the beginning, I want to update. You will see it's being changed, and you will also see here it's being changed. Let's do one more time. Console. Here, when update, you will see John 20, you will see age, and John is being updated. That is working with a complicated object, okay? That is this part. So we worked on 2 demos. One is a simple, like a number. You can work with string, same as a number primitive types. We work on an object. With object, make sure here is a new object. If you do modify on existing object and set again, it won't work. Okay. We have 2 more slides here, which is go over the types. Okay. So here we already talked about working on existing won't work. You have to create a new one. So React automatic infers type based on default value passed to useState. So explicit type annotation are not required. So when I give false, here, by default, the value is what? By default, value is Boolean. And toggle will have like this one, a Boolean. Toggle is what? Is an array, is a function which will be used to update. And here it's gonna have a parameter which is a Boolean type, like a value, and the Boolean, okay. And it's going to be, you make a change to this toggle. And in our demo, what we did is here, the first one is a number 0. So the value count here 0, and the toggle you expect it to be a parameter. A parameter you have to give a number, okay? So it will infer based on the initial value. useState is also a generic function that can take a specific custom type of arguments. Suppose the type of user has a name, string, and number. You can also do like this way. Here have inference, which is user, okay? By default, here is undefined. So for if we do like this way, the user will have a type is user. You will have typer user and all undefined, okay? Find like this way. And next one, You can, when we are unsure about the initial value of state, setting user's initial value to none is a common practice and explicit annotation done by specific union use none. You can also give none if you don't have initial value. So in this case, user will be either user or none. Okay. So when we set a user, it can be user or none. So here, let's demo a little bit. Okay. Suppose let's have this user. I'd like to make another copy. Let's use a person. How about it? Let's use a person. Person.tsx. Okay, and here RFC, and here I'm going to have a type. You can use interface, you can use a type. Okay, person, interface person will have a name. Name is a string. Okay, and we'll have a address. How about it? Address is also a string. And then we are going to do is a const. Here we'll have a person and a set person. And you can do is useState. useState here can give type person. Suppose you don't have a default, and if you don't have default, don't give default value here, the person gonna be have a type which is person and undefined. You optionally you can also give a none. Okay, which is I don't have a what here has. No. What's the problem? Type none is not assigned to parameter. This one something useState. Right? It should be assigned to be none. Well, it doesn't allow. I used pretty often here. So if no, it's fine. Let's see. Okay. It doesn't accept to be none now. That's something I'm not aware of. Argument none is not assigned to primary type non person or something person. Let me have a name default, address default, also fine. Let's give undefined. Undefined cannot, none cannot. So that means, hey, what's going on here? It doesn't allow to be none. Super weird. Okay, I'll just get rid of this one. Okay, I'll try to see in next video. First, I'm going to display. Okay, like how to display person dot name, and then person dot address. And as you can see here, this is why I want to show you now. Okay, the reason because if the person in this case is undefined, and if we just want to display name and address, potentially this person doesn't exist with undefined. And with a question mark, it means what? Oh, if person question mark exists, I will display name. And if person doesn't exist, it will display nothing. So now if I put a person here, let me see. Okay, no problem. Okay, no problem. If I display on the page, you will see nothing here because the person, see here, the person here, which is undefined here by default is undefined, and only when we have values of this person it's gonna change. Suppose here I have a button. Okay, update person, and I'm going to do just using our short just to have one line of code. Okay, I'm going to do is like this way. Set person, okay, and then here I'm going to give name, yes, Edward, okay, and I give address, yes, US, okay. Now let's see, and now when I click update person, you will see Edward US, okay. So this is this one. That's all the scenario I want to show. And for this one, why now doesn't work, I will take a look at later, because it definitely works for me before, but now I'm not sure why it doesn't work anymore. Okay. Oh, why doesn't it work? My goodness, it's because if I give none here, you have to use union. My bad. Okay, I forgot about it. You have here because you give none, and then you make sure here you give union, and then still here is a question mark. If because it's none, potential is none, right? So at the beginning, if you will see nothing, but if you do like this way, we're going to see error. See here, you're gonna have error. It's because person is possible to be none, and when you have a name, you're gonna have like in Java, you're gonna have non-point exception, right? You're gonna have errors. Okay, sorry, I forgot to change this one. Okay, if here's none, you have to have person union none. Okay, and you can also give undefined, and then here you have to be use undefined. By default, it's undefined. So usually, if you use none, okay. Okay, scared me. I said, why it doesn't work? Okay. Anyway, that's the end of this video. Talk about useState. I will see you next time. Bye bye.